The case of Erica Ndewere, a dismissed High Court judge and the Zimbabwean president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, has caught many people's attention. With a long history in Zimbabwe's justice system, Ndewere has worked alongside prominent figures in government and the judiciary. Now the bigger question is, what led to your dismissal? Was it misconduct or politics? To understand this case better, let's talk about who Erica Ndewere is and the events that might have prompted her to go at loggerheads with Mnangagwa. Erica Ndewere is a former High Court judge, born on February 8, 1960. She grew up in Karoi, where her family runs some businesses, and is married to the late Jeremiah Ndewere, who died in February 2024. Justice Ndewere went to Makumbi Mission in Domboshawa and St. Augustine Secondary Schools before graduating with a Bachelor of Law from the University of Zimbabwe in 1983. She started a legal career as a public prosecutor at the magistrate courts between 1983 and 1986, and later became a senior law officer in the Attorney General's office from 1987 to 1990, where she worked with the late Attorney General Godfrey Chishika-Usiku. In 1991, Ndewere moved to Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation ZBC as a company secretary and legal advisor, where she remained for 10 years until 2001. She then went into private practice from 2001 to 2003 to work as a project coordinator and legal advisor to the Media Ethics Committee. Ndewere was appointed a commissioner of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission ZEC between 2003 and 2005 and was a delegate to observe elections in Botswana, Malawi, and the Democratic Republic of Congo during this period. She was appointed as a legal member of the COPAC technical team to help produce the Zimbabwe's constitution in 2013. Ndewere was appointed the president of Labour Court in May 2012 and later moved to High Court as a judge in July 2013. One of her notable judgments was giving the former First Lady Grace Mugabe 24 hours to remove a game from Arnold Farm No. 10, also known as Manzowe Farm in Mazowe district. Mugabe had forcibly taken the farm from the villagers at Manzowe in Mazowe. Cited in the Ancient High Court chamber applications were Police Commissioner General Augustine Chiuri, Lands Minister Douglas Mombeshora, and Home Affairs Minister Kembo Mahadi, who held office at that time. In 2019, Ndewere reported that she was threatened by Chief Justice Luke Malaba after refusing to accept his unlawful instructions regarding bail of a cabinet minister. And in 2020, she received further threats regarding bail of an opposition member of parliament. She was served with disciplinary letters in court while she was in the middle of hearing bail application from Job Sikala. In 2021, Ndewere was removed from office by the current Zimbabwean president, Emmerson Mnangagwa, on complaints relating to her performance as a judge, specifically her work output, which was deemed unsatisfactory and below expected standards. The complaints against Ndewere were initially raised by the Judicial Service Commission in 2020, which alleged that she had issued a review judgment in respect of criminal proceedings without having properly perused the record and proceedings. Specifically, she had ordered the release from prison a person who had previous convictions, which militated against his release. In May 2020, Ndewere was suspended from her position as the High Court judge, and a tribunal was established to investigate her conduct. The tribunal, which was led by the retired judge Simbi Mubako, recommended a removal from office in October 2020. Mnangagwa then fired from her position as the High Court judge in April 2021. Ndewere challenged a dismissal in court, arguing that the tribunal was unlawful and that the president cannot dismiss a judge on the basis of an illegality. She also raised issues of discrimination and equality before the law, alleging that she was targeted because of a ruling in favor of opposition politicians and human rights activists. Recently, the matter was heard by the Constitutional Court, which reserved the judgment. The following claims were made by Ndewere in the Constitutional Court. Her first challenge is that the Chief Justice arrogated to himself powers of disciplinary investigations, which he does not have and which are not backed by the law. Ndewere, who was represented by Beatrice Mtetwa of Mtetwa Nyambirai and Partners, told the Constitutional Court that the Chief Justice unlawfully usurped the powers given to the panel of 3 judges by law and breached her fundamental rights in Section 65 of the Constitution, which provides every person with the right to fair and safe labor practices and standards and to be paid a fair and reasonable wage. Ndewere's second claim is that of discrimination, as she stated that she was not treated the same way as other judges in a similar position who were investigated by a panel of 3 judges. Mteta told the Constitutional Court that she was astonished by judges accused of corruption and sexual offenses were investigated by a panel of 3 judges, but a client who had done nothing wrong at all was swiftly sent to the president for punishment without being given the opportunity to give a side of the story. Justice Erica Ndewere's male colleagues Francis Bere, Justice Thomson Mapikwa, and Webster Chinamora faced cases of gross misconduct and appeared before a panel of 3 judges. The veteran women's lawyer argued that the way a client was treated by the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission was a clear case of discrimination, which evidently is against Section 65 of the Constitution. Mnangagwa has distanced himself from the merits of the application and wants the Chief Justice and the Judicial Service Commission to respond to the accusations against them. Some judges of the High Court and Supreme Court have also rescued themselves from the same case. Ndewere's third claim is that she was the only judge to be charged for breaching Section 19, and yet other 17 judges also committed the same offense, but none of them were punished. Justice Erica Ndewere charged that this is another form of discrimination. She quoted Section 56 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which prohibits any form of discrimination, and it recognizes equality of all persons and goes further to explicitly outlaw discrimination on the grounds of sex or gender. The Constitutional Court was asked to find that she was treated less favorably than other judges who are male. A source who spoke on behalf of Ndewere said, "The state of judiciary in Zimbabwe is an evolving scandal that can only be resolved by the resignation of Chief Justice Malava and disbanding of Judicial Service Commission for the inept and grossly incompetent way in which it handled the case of Justice Erica Ndewere." He added that not only has the custodian of the judiciary in Zimbabwe failed to uphold the Constitution, but the Constitutional Court has a huge task of putting its Chief Justice on trial and with no option but to tell him that he erred in law. Ndewere has highlighted that the ongoing dispute has damaged the reputation of the judiciary and will have far-reaching implications on the conditions of employment of judges in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. For these and other stories, please subscribe to the channel.